Hi, I'm Cheryl Brunette, and today I'm going to show you how to finish off that scalloped modular fabric with those top triangles or upside down scallops that fill in the gaps. You'll remember last time that we learned to make this scallop, which is really quite simple. It has a convex bottom, you just cast on some stitches, and then every row is the same. We're just using a garter stitch motif. And we slip the first stitch of every row purlwise with the yarn in front, take the yarn in back, knit across, and knit the last two stitches together. It was really, all these are the same. They are very simple. This one is not the same. That was an effort to do one of these fill-ins. But that will leave you with these dips at the top that we have to fill in some way. And I tried a number of different ways. First of all, one suggestion I would make is that you not end on one of these where you have to do a half. Although it's easy enough to do the half. We did the half. When you do the half of whatever shaping you're going to do or whatever knitting, you just shape this side as regular as you did the large one, and then make this a straight edge. Just slip those stitches for every first row and knit them on the back, on the last row, or the end of when you're going this direction, knit the stitch at this end. When you're going in that direction, slip the stitch. And it's the opposite here. When you are going in this direction, you slip that first stitch. When you're going in that direction, you knit that last stitch, but keep the regular shaping along there. I suggest that instead of ending up here, where you have to do those halves, just go ahead and end in a place where you have whole ones. Depending, if you're going to make some sort of a skirt or something for a little girl and you want it to be a certain length, then you might end up where you have to use these half ones. But this is just one way to make it a little easier. So this is one way I filled it in. I picked up everything just as we did for these other scallops, and instead of decreasing only at the end of the row, I decreased at the beginning and the end of the row, which made it disappear twice as fast, right? So it did give me this little point in the center. I probably could rip out, I'd say maybe 2 rows and combine all those together or bind them off. I think I'd have to combine them. I think I'd have to like knit 4 together or purl 4 together. This was very easy to do, but one trick that's really important that it took me a while to discover is that I purled 2 together at the beginning of every row and knit 2 together at the end of every row. And I had to do that because if I didn't, it made a funny little purl bump at the edge. Where is it? There, it made this funny little like crossover. And so I ripped it back. I left that one so I could show you. But it makes a nice edge if you purl 2 together at the beginning and knit 2 together at the end. Okay, so that's, you already know how to do that because you just follow the directions that you did for this. This one, I remember when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, that's disappointing because it's so wide. It's bigger than this. But of course, it has to be bigger because this is concave on this side and it has to be convex on that side. So this needs to be convex more and fill that space in. So this was just reversing the process of this. And that one I kind of like a lot. And that's the one I'm going to show you how to do. Here's something that I did I picked it up along the edge just like I did for this one, but I did a double decrease in the center, which of course makes a mitered square and not a mitered curve, which I knew that would happen, but I just kind of wanted to stick it in there. I could have finished up that square, and I decided to bind it off to maybe kind of get the height sort of like this, and it gave me that little dip, and I thought, well, it kind of fits the pattern. I mean, somebody might want that. It almost looks like a little bit of a heart at the top or something. I don't know. It's everybody, you get to have your own design, but I will show you one possibility for picking up. And here we have, let's see what we've got here. In this case, we picked up a bunch and we decreased at the end of every row. So this time, until we had one left. So this time, I start by picking up, and then I pick up another stitch at the end of every row. That's how I did it. I just sort of reverse engineered what was going on. And it sort of works. It isn't beautiful, beautiful. This is the result. It's the same as this. And there are some things I would concentrate on. This is why you do gauge swatches. It's not just to get your gauge. It also, as you're experimenting with things, I look and I go, oh, those stitches are really loose there. I wonder why that is. And I'm going to pay attention to making them better. Also, something that I did on this swatch, this one I did first, this one I did second. And a new thing I learned on this one is to slip the first stitch, to move the yarn so that it covered this long stitch that was there, whereas over here you can see there's a really long stitch. So I figured out a way to sort of mask that. Not that it would matter. I don't know that people are paying that close attention. This one was really tight. I slipped it on this side. When I slipped it, it was really tighter. So again, if I'm making a final product, I will be paying very close attention to those little problem areas where I don't have things quite even or I want to change them. So let me see my 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 pale blue ones there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 7th one down there. Let me see what I've got going there. There's my 7th one right there. Okay, so what I did was I started by picking up 1. And I should have brought a crochet hook. I love pointy needles, and one of the reasons I love pointy needles is you can really pick up things, and they're just more versatile as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of hard to pick up stitches with these. Okay, so I'm starting with 1 stitch, and I had to just make this decision, and it's my first row, let's say, and I go to the end of that row and I add a stitch, and I do it just by picking up. I turned the work and slip the first stitch with the yarn on the public side or the front side or the right side. When you're working with 2 different colors, the way you pick up the stitches causes there to be a double color, whereas on the right side or the public side or the front side, as some people call it, you can see that there's no double color there. So you're going to slip as if to purl, but I want my yarn on the public side, and knit the last stitch, or knit across. That is, I'm knitting across my row, and then I'm going to pick up a stitch at the end of the row. However, if I pick it up from here, just like from the knit side, I'm going to end up with one of those color bumps on my public, or I don't like to call it the right side because of right and left. It's the public side, okay? And I don't want that color bump there. I want to keep all my color bumps on this side. So this is how I worked around it. Instead of knitting it to add it, I purled it. I brought it around, the yarn around, and then I inserted from the other side and purled that stitch off. Okay, so I picked up a stitch, I turned it, I'm at the beginning of this row. So I'm going to slip the first stitch with the yarn on the public side. Slip as if to purl, yarn on the public side. Knit across. Pick up 1 stitch at the end of the row. In this case, I can pick it up from the knit side. I should have put that tail someplace else. Turn the work. Slip the first stitch purlwise with the yarn on the public side, which means the yarn needs to be in the back. And then, in this case, which is actually the front. See where this language can get really messy. The front of the fabric, the back of the place I'm working. Okay, slip and then knit across. Okay, I'm at a point where I want to stop and count my stitches. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and I had a total of 14. So I just picked that stitch up at the end of the row. So 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I have all the stitches that I need to pick up. Slip that first stitch. Actually, all I'm going to, well, 5. Okay then, I'm going to just grab you and slip it with the yarn in front, meaning the front side of the fabric, knit across, and pick up 1 stitch at the end. You just do this until you've picked up all your stitches, in my case 14, and then just do a regular bind off, a regular passover bind off. I encourage you to experiment with this little scalloped fabric that we've been working on. Vary the size of yarn that you're using. Vary the number of stitches that you're using. Maybe add color into some of the modules. They are small enough that you can experiment with a lot of different creative things without really donating a huge part of your life. And I think that you'll learn a lot about knitted fabric in general by doing and by playing with these because of that curve, because of those decreases. It will give you a real interesting sense of how knitting works. And then when you're done, I wish you would share what you discovered with the rest of us, because it's a little bit like crowdsourcing. All our minds together can come up with many more creative things than just my mind. So if you're on Facebook, come to my Cheryl Brunette Knitting Teacher Facebook page, and there you can post pictures and you can make comments. That's a very easy place to connect with us. And if you can't come there, if you're not on Facebook, then go ahead and make a comment below. I don't exactly know how you can upload photos, or if you can in the comments, but there might be a way that you can figure that out. There's something else, there's another little problem for the crowd to source and figure out, because that's one that I don't know how to do. So I hope you enjoyed this little class, and thank you for joining me. And until I see you again, be brave. Really play with this little modular fun thing to do, and enjoy your knitting. See you soon. Hi. Gosh, I'll tell you, these pollens are still getting to me. Motocicleta. I'm going to let the motocicleta go by. Oh no, it's my landlord. He's mowing.